think it's fair to say there was no love lost between Donald Trump and Nikki Haley during the Republican primary. And even though she's been out of the race now for about 2 months, it's increasingly clear some of her supporters just aren't quite ready yet for the party to unite. The former ambassador to the United Nations, look at this, racked up 20% of the vote in Maryland's Republican primary earlier this week. Out in Nebraska on Tuesday night, she brought in almost 18% of the primary vote. The former president, though, doesn't seem fazed about her support.
Those voters are all coming to me, and you may have a lot of Democrats in there because they have a very tricky little system, but those voters are coming to me.
We are joined now by Olivia Perez-Cubas and Chuck Rocha. Olivia is a Republican strategist and served as a spokeswoman for Nikki Haley's presidential campaign. Chuck, the only man allowed to wear headgear on television, is a Democratic strategist who served as a senior advisor to Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign and advises other Democrats on the ballot this year. They're all coming to me, he claims, based on what you saw in your research of the Haley voter when you were working for her campaign. Is that true? Are they all going to him?
I think that remains to be seen. I think you just listed Maryland. Last week, we saw Indiana. Nikki is still racking up a significant chunk of votes. And look, we can all do math. It's not the majority here, but it's significant enough. And I think that it spells out a real problem for both Trump and Biden, to be honest, because whichever way these voters go in such a close election come November will be whichever way the election goes.
I mean, we've seen in a few states, six-figure sums of Republican vote go for her, even after she dropped out. That doesn't mean that six-figure sum is all going to vote for Joe Biden, but there's a bigger risk that that six-figure sum stays home when Donald Trump's on the ballot, right?
Yeah,
and that's part of the concern.
I think the concern is no one knows what they're going to do.
Right.
And it's funny because, you know, her speech when she suspended her campaign, she said, now it's up to you to earn the votes of my supporters. And I think her words ring truer today as they did then. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
Trump needs to earn their vote and Biden needs to earn their vote.
And has the president done anything yet explicitly to reach out to them?
I think he's starting to now. I think what you haven't mentioned, what we saw in the last election, and the reason why Donald Trump likes to say that the election was stolen, even though they voted for other Republicans but not him, is exactly that. I think these voters, not all of them, but history would tell us they go there. They're primary voters. They like to vote. They're showing up in a primary. They're for sure going to show up in the general. And I think they vote, but they skip that line of the ticket. That's what I think is the big impact they could have on this election when the margins are so narrow. They wanted anybody but Donald Trump. Secretary was a good vote for them at the time, and I think that they're still so angry about it that, not all of them, but I think enough of them to affect this election will just skip that line.
Do we know what she's going to talk about when she's here in town next week?
I don't know what she's going to talk about. She is, I think, you know, she's back in the arena in some sense. I think it's important that her voice be in the conversation. I'm encouraged that she is giving a speech because we are seeing this is a very sensitive time for America, particularly within the Republican Party. There's a growing divide about America's role in the world, about whether we should retreat or whether we should remain strong on the world stage. Nikki has been very vocal about American leadership, peace through strength, and I think it's important that she continue to be vocal on that front.
The vice president, Kamala Harris, has accepted an invitation from CBS News to participate in a vice presidential debate on either Tuesday, July 23rd or Tuesday, August 13th. We're waiting to hear from the Trump campaign about whether they would accept that invitation or not, but it has been extended to them. When you think about the universe of potential Trump running mates, a list that includes everyone from Nikki Haley, even though then he sort of rejected that idea, to Tim Scott, to Kristi Noem, to Elise Stefanik, to Doug Burgum. Among those, who would you say might be the best equipped to debate the vice president?
Well, I think the list of people not under consideration is shorter than the list of people under consideration. I have no idea who Trump is going to pick. I think Trump is the only one who knows who he's going to pick. I could see it being Burgum, Ben Carson. Your guess is as good as mine.
Look, I want to eliminate folks maybe who's killed their dogs in a grapple pit, and we'll leave them over here to the side.
So that's one.
That's one. But then you put the people around her who are just as crazy here in Congress, who went up to New York this week to sit and have his back. There's a whole basket of those folks there that I think would be crazy to be on a debate stage that she don't want no part of, or we don't either, because you can't control that. I've done debate prep in a presidential campaign, and I know that you want to control what you think is going to happen. And when you got a crazy person there, you can't control that. So I think the one that's the most vulnerable. The one that's in good shape would be like a U.S. senator, like a Marco Rubio or somebody of that who knows policy, who has a history, who they could actually have a debate about that. I think that would be the most interesting.
It would be interesting to see how they prepare her in the meantime. Real quick, President's going to Georgia for 2 days, essentially, and then up to Detroit for a series of events designed to reach black voters, and especially black men to some extent. How serious an issue is that in both of those states, Georgia
The
and
margins
Michigan?
are going to be so small, Ed. You've talked about that. We've talked about it in Iowa and other places. It's so little that every one of these things matter a whole lot because he can't lose 3 or 4%. He may could lose 1%, but if you start losing 3 or 4 or 5% of the black vote, this thing's already over.
Especially in those battleground states.
Absolutely.
See? Haley voters, black voters, every voter counts in these tighter elections. Olivia Perez-Cubas, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Chuck Rocha, always good to see you. Thank you both for being here.